This ain't no joke, this ain't no game. This that CSZ game. They said pull up, so I came. You better put some respect on their name. Yeah, 55 was goody. Kill the vibe, how could he? Big Cardinal on the hoodie. Let me break it down for you fully. This ain't your average broadcast. This ain't just no podcast. We on the show, spread fake news. We just call it broadcast. West Joey, Sam, Sean, Dalton. And you know that boy hit you. He said he wants small fries. Tell him they better make him big. Yeah, you already know what we be on.
You bet. Jordan, here he goes. This place is gonna.
If we set it and set it in stone, sit in the seat, set up your phone. You in the Cardinal sports zone.
Straight steal of home. The slide. The Cards win.
The magic is working tonight. How do you know when things are
The emotional journey to the championship.
What is up, everybody? We are coming to you live from the Shoot 360 studios. This is the Cardinal Sports Zone podcast. I'm your host, Jeremy Wallman. Here are my co-hosts for this fine afternoon. The big little brother, Joe Wallman.
Acknowledge me.
Okay, they do this. The women's basketball beat writer and football beat writer, Sam Basden.
What up?
And even though it may not look like it, I can guarantee you he is wearing pants today. It's Sean Barber.
How's it going?
He's not wearing pants. Don't forget the Mossy Oak chat line is open. If you're watching on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, or however, send us your questions on the social media. Check on the graphic below to see how you can follow the Cardinal Sports Zone podcast or help support us monetarily. Hit that thumbs up button while you're here on YouTube. Make sure you're watching on YouTube if you can. It'll help us out more. And shout out to our plethora of fine sponsors: Fitness Market, Four Pegs, Collision Course, Crew Tailgaters, Cherry Pick and Shoot 360, Mossy Oak, Planet Fitness, Rally House, and our summer sponsor, Beckmann's Fine Blades. And we're also going to start a new sponsor here in a couple of weeks, Josh Jarbo from Remax Realty. Very excited to have Josh hop on with us. But now we have to get to our guests. At the time we booked this appearance, he was the head baseball coach at our alma mater, Dallas High School. He has since got a different opportunity. He is the new head baseball coach at Fern Creek. Started off as a Twitter follower and supporter of the show, but has transformed into a good friend and the guy that makes sure that my yard looks good when True Green isn't doing their job. Even then, he does a fantastic job as owner of Beckmann's Fine Blades. He is the new head baseball coach at Fern Creek High School. Zach Beckmann. Zach, I'm going to get to you in a second because, wait, there's more. It's time for the main event. No offense, Zach. When you can help bring honor and glory back to our beloved university, then you can be the main event too. I digress. Hailing from the great state of Pennsylvania, our next guest burst onto the scene at the advent of NIL with the Fury. The former Pittsburgh Panther came to the university with 5 years of experience in university development and was the associate director of development for major gifts for the University of Louisville Athletics prior to joining the 502Circle. He was responsible for securing over $15 million in commitments and built relationships with companies such as the Galt House, Angels Envy, Buffalo Construction, and many more. He is not only the president of the 502Circle, he's also co-founder of the Floyd Street Media. Gave me the opportunity to be the first ever host of the Louisville live stream, which was so fun to do. Without further ado, we bring in our guests. It is Zach Beckmann and the one and only Dan Furman. Guys, thank you for joining us and rocking with us. We appreciate that.
Appreciate you guys, man.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
It's awesome.
Absolutely. Look, we're going to take limited questions today so we can take advantage of having the man here with us, but we will put all the comments on the screen during the show. Dan, the first question that me and Joey, this is very, very important to us. Steelers or Eagles?
Oh, come on. I know where you guys might lie, but Eagles. Fly Eagles fly.
And thanks for tuning into the Cardinal Sports Zone podcast this week.
My folks have had tickets since I was a kid, man, and I remember like the Donovan McNabb TO days.
Okay,
but I don't hate on the Steelers.
Okay,
There we go. We're good then.
I assumed.
I don't hate on the Eagles.
No, you like to see.
At one
Can't.
point,
It's
one
not
season,
like
there was the Steagles.
So we're kind of like cousins if you think about it.
Yeah.
Okay,
It's not like they're it's not Eagles Cowboys. It's not.
Yeah. It's not.
I mean, if you're a Steelers fan, who is it? Is it the Browns?
No, it's the Ravens.
Ravens.
Yeah,
it's the Ravens.
Hate the Ravens.
Browns have been so
Like the
bad
Browns,
for so long.
we beat them like 37 out of the last 40 times. So that's We don't even think about them.
They are a non-factor.
Yeah.
Well, let's hop right into it. Dan, can you let everybody out there know how you got involved with the 502 Circle to begin with?
Yeah, it's a crazy story. We NIL obviously bursted on the scene probably about 4 years ago, and clearly it was a lot different then than it is right now. But it started with appearances at Mark's Feed Store for guys sitting on the front of a Maserati taking pictures down in the city, right? And it was we were really painting a facade of what Louisville could be for NIL and the future of what to be honest was we saw as a massive recruiting advantage because there's a lot of eyes on Louisville sports, and you're kind of the pro team. And that's no disrespect to any other teams in town. Like that's just our fan base is nuts, man, and I love it. That's what it's all about. There's not a lot of colleges across the country that have similar fan bases to ours.
Absolutely,
the passion, the energy behind it. So we took advantage of it. We tried to get as many athletes involved as possible, and at the time, I was on the university staff, so. I found myself like working deals between some of our donors and people that I knew, and they were paying athletes directly, and I was like helping out as the middleman, and it just started to get really gray, right?
Right.
So that was really on the back end of Vince's tenure, who Vince and Michael Dudas hired me when I was coming out of my internship at the ACC, but then Josh kind of took over, started to really formalize what we were doing on the NIL front. They asked me to go run the collective and I got connected with Mark Spiegel, and Mark had a great concept and vision in mind, and just needed a lot of execution. Right. And then that's what we did for the first 2 years of it. And it grew like crazy. 502Circle probably got bigger than we thought it ever would. And NIL turned into like a complete college athletics controlling concept. And we were so lucky. We were so fortunate, man, because our fans actually got behind it, right? They saw the ability to impact winning. They saw the ability to the joy that it could bring to the city, the economic impact, all of those things. Like NIL did that. So it was cool to see over the last couple of years, Louisville athletics really dive into NIL, take that recruiting advantage where they could. And it didn't happen by accident. The success didn't happen by, my group or a bunch of, local people. Like, it was the whole city.
Absolutely.
This thing. And really like our alumni base too. People from, you go on our thing, we have monthly subscriptions. Like there's people from Charleston, from Dallas, from Houston, from all over the country that are supporting 502Circle. So it's been a lot of fun, and we've put some pretty good teams on the field over the last couple of years, and it's all worked out.
Absolutely. And I forgot to tell you all the cameras right here. So
I love it. There you go.
I was just trying. I forgot that I didn't tell you all that, so that's on me. Shout out to Dudas. Shout out to Mr. Spiegel and Vince. Still to this day checks in on me. Great dude. And shout out to Josh for embracing and running with it. NIL is relatively new in the grand scheme of things. For those that are watching it and are not aware, what exactly is NIL?
Yeah, so it's name, image, likeness, and it's basically endorsement and advertising deals for athletes, right? That's what the concept was meant to be, and there still is a lot of NIL. There's still that endorsement piece of what we do, partnering with local brands, going out, community service events, signing autographs, showing up to birthday parties, all that kind of stuff. It's also transitioned and grown and really developed into almost like front office services, right? So a lot of schools use NIL or the money that they can generate through outside endorsement deals to pay athletes to get them to come to campus. They use them as almost a recruiting inducement. Let's call it what it is. And, now you have revenue share on top of that, which is a rev share / NIL payments directly from the school. So schools are now able to pay athletes to get them to come and sign deals and be part of their program for the next, year or 3 years or 4 years, however they set up that contract. But there's a lot of different ways to explain NIL, but ultimately it's getting an athlete to campus, finding a way to set yourself apart in the recruiting process, and setting a value on the roster that helps you win championships.
What are your again? We're here with president of the president of the 502Circle, Dan Furman, and Zach Beckmann from Beckmann's Fine Blades, our summer sponsor. Hopefully, multiple summer sponsor if we can work something out after the show. What are your responsibilities exactly for the 502Circle and for Floyd Street Media too?
It's a lot, man. It's a lot. But
you're always busy.
I got a great team. I got a great team.
Yeah.
I've got I've got myself. We've got Paige McCormick, Quinn Pichelle, and Sydney Depp, who handle a lot of the day to day. But we're all over the place, right? Like we're we're fundraising, we're managing, or helping, set up some of the contracts that our athletes are signing when they're coming to campus. We're negotiating, we're recruiting, we're, getting out in the community. We're marketing our athletes, putting our athletes in front of brands in the community and making sure that what we're putting out content wise makes sense for them to continue their career and continue to grow their brand. So there's a lot of things tied into that. A lot of times I always say, there's not an exact responsibility that we're doing because we're covering so many different areas, right? We're basically filling in any needs that both of our programs have to help them remain competitive. And that literally could come down to interviewing a head coach so we can get a sponsorship to put some more money in the pot to get a quarterback. Like it really, you dumb it down, it's that simple. Like we're doing everything that we can to generate revenue and run two businesses that ultimately support both our men's basketball and football programs to have success.
Did you notice when he said "dumb it down"? He looked right at you, Sean. I'm just pointing that as a journalist. I have to point that out, and it was very accurate.
Love it.
Didn't deny it either. So, so what is one of the questions we've been asking for questions all week? One of the questions we got is there an exact breakdown per sport that the NIL funnels through for U of L? Like football gets this much, basketball gets this much.
From an NIL standpoint, I can't get too into the granulars.
Sure.
But, it's obviously, football takes a majority of what's coming through just simply because of the massive amounts that you have to come up with, right? Like
A larger roster.
Yeah, I mean, we pay right around 50 guys a year.
Yeah.
So it's a lot. And I will say this, that's our strategy, but a lot of schools are paying closer to 70, 75, but it allows us to punch above our weight a little bit.
Absolutely.
We're a lot more condensed from a roster standpoint. And you know how Jeff coaches. Jeff coaches, he's a pro style coach. He's going to play the guys that make plays. You're not going to get too deep down the roster. And he's also, and not a lot of head coaches are like this, man, but he's very diligent, like very frugal with the money, right? He doesn't just, he's not a typical head coach. It's just like, I get a budget, I'm going to spend every dollar. He wants every piece, every ounce of value out of every dollar that we spend. So I really appreciate that. And then Pat obviously has done a phenomenal job putting his roster together. So we've really worked hand in hand with both of those sports to, push this thing to a level where they're nationally relevant year in and year out. And we didn't just do it for 1 year. Like a lot of schools were able to hit the one shot wonder and try and go for it. And we set it up for some sustainability here. We feel really good about where both of those programs are, but a lot of time that, that's where a majority of the resources go, and then you have women's basketball, baseball, and volleyball are those other three. And then, you trickle into a little track and field. Track and field's competitive on the NIL front. There's a lot of schools that, because of the way that the Learfield Cup is set up, there's additional opportunities for schools to score in the Learfield Cup, the Athletic Directors Cup, through track and field because of the size of the amount, the roster spots, all that kind of stuff. So that's a little bit granular on the athletic side. But, man, I can't thank the city enough for giving us the resources to support those programs the way that we have. Because, like, I'm sitting here watching this Notre Dame game. I don't know if y'all remember the feeling in the stadium that night. It was ridiculous.
Oh, it was
ridiculous.
Unreal.
I could work in college sports for another 30 years, and I don't know if I'll ever get that feeling again.
The only feeling I remember,
and even though we didn't come out on top, like those are the types of things our fans are going to remember for a long time.
I was say the only feeling I remember that was even remotely close was the Florida State Louisville Ali game. It just was.
Lamar went absolutely crazy.
That was his Heisman game.
Oh, no doubt.
Absolutely. Is there another question we got from is there a formula or guidelines that you can speak of that the 502Circle uses to determine how much money individual athletes should get from the collective?
There's no formula because it's all market driven. Okay. Like you're recruiting against, think about the Power Four, right? Let's just say 64 other schools. So you're just recruiting against 64 other schools, and if somebody needs somebody bad enough, that number may shoot up. Or if there's no need, and it's all based on position too. Like there may not be a need for defensive ends in the market at the time, and therefore you get a value, right? You get a good deal. It's all
kind of like pro contracts.
It's pro contracts, yeah, exactly. And there's some off seasons where free agents are more in high demand than others, right? And it's I think that's where you are constantly trying to navigate the market, understand where the financials are. We have a great team to do that. We work really closely with our recruiting staffs. And we've been so fortunate that they've taken us in like that. At a lot of schools, there's such a divide. The collective doesn't talk to the recruiting staff, and they're both recruiting different players. And, you got collectives offering out deals and scholarships, and coaches don't even really want the kid, and they're overpaying. Like, you have to communicate. And that Josh set the tone from day one. Like, if we're going to do this, there's going to be communication. It's going to be driven in one direction. It's not about individuals. So he's done a great job. And for us to be able to just follow his leadership, man, it's put us in a really good position to sustain the success that we've had. And hopefully you guys are seeing it going into this year. I think we got a really, really talented football team with a huge, with a really high ceiling, and a quarterback that's going to be ready to go. And then I don't even know if we could say enough about the basketball roster. So it's going to be fun. And I give a lot of credit to the athletic department staff and what Josh has built to, put us in position to do that.
We see a lot of local partnerships, and I know you said that's key. Are there any plans? This question's being asked by our guy Higgy, who is manning the text line right now. Are there any plans for more national type sponsorship or partnerships, like with I don't know. I guess he means like a Ford. Like, we got Ford and UPS, and we got some big hitters here in town. Thornton, yeah. I mean, and we saw Pat Kelsey, hobnobbing it with the Ford people the other day when they announced the major, changes here in Louisville. Are there any plans for any more national type deals like that?
I can't get too into it just yet, but they're baking relatively fast. There's some exciting things coming down the pipeline there, and I think that let's call it what it is, right? Like, you got to win games, and we didn't do a lot of that, until probably about 3 or 4 years ago. Yeah. We kind of went through a little bit of a dry spell where Louisville athletics didn't quite look like it should have, but we're back on top, and we feel like we're in a good spot to leverage the athletes that we're bringing to campus to get some of those national deals put in place. And those don't come easy because there's not a ton of it's really hard for those brands that are massive like that to find that value in individual athletes.
How's this going to help us?
Exactly. Right. And then there's the Learfield dynamic of how do you use the marks and what does that look like? And a lot of times does an athlete, like if you were to just see athletes from the last few years, there's not a lot of athletes that we had on campus that you could just put on a billboard and recognize who they are no matter what city you're in. Right. So I think that we're getting to that point where you look at what Michael Brown's doing. You look at Orion Conwell, you look at Miller Moss. Like, these are national names, national brands that I think you're going to start to see more of a Ford Motors. You're going to see a Procter and Gamble's, people who have a genuine interest in marketing with them, and it's only going to raise all boats.
Is there and I'm going to ask everybody this question because I've got one in mind. Is there a dream, without revealing anything? Is there a company out there that you look at and you're like, if you could make it happen just like that, who would it be?
Man, that's a great question. I mean, and there's a ton of them. Everybody in that Fortune 500, though, we love. I mean, I love more. I would love more collaboration with like Texas Roadhouse, right? Just because of the community aspect, right. The heartstrings attached to what Roadhouse does. Roadhouse is, it's a legendary. Like I say that it's a legendary brand with a lot of community feel to it. It's almost like when you walk in those places, you feel like you're eating around a bunch of your buddies, and you don't even know the people in the other booths. Like, that's where our athletes, I think that's where the value is, tying those true community connections into what we're doing. And what makes Louisville tick, right? What brings all of us together? Well, Louisville sports, Louisville basketball. Those Louisville basketball guys rolling through Texas Roadhouse and handing out rolls with
sports,
that kind of stuff. Exactly. Like, that's the stuff that provides value. And I think that as we get more mature in this and Flourish Media continues to hone in on what they're really good at, and 502Circle finds its new lane in the next step of college sports, like those things are going to become really, really, practical. They're going to be things that we can put together to have success and just amplify what we're doing and use as a recruiting tool, because those brands, they invest in us. They take pride in us. And I think that, you got to put the cart before the horse. Like, you got to win games.
I think their headquarters are still here, correct?
Yeah, right so over off of Breckenridge.
Yeah, right? But I'm just that obviously helps because you got those folks in town that you can build strong relationships with. You can meet them for lunch real easy, things like that. So,
and they just build
the other thing to watch, like, and we've been really keeping an eye on this is. There are a lot of moving parts in professional sports right now with sports gambling. Mm-hmm. What's that look like in the next 3 to 5 years? How does DraftKings get involved? How does FanDuel get involved? What does Prize Picks try to do in the
Don't
college
ask
space?
Oklahoma's quarterback.
Yeah, right. And it really is as I guess you'd say as temperamental as it is, there is so much opportunity there financially. And I think that for us, it's not necessarily like our compliance staff does an unbelievable job. Like if y'all even knew the precautions that they have in
people have to have
measurements that they have in place to make sure that stuff's all under wraps. Like I am just telling you, there is so much opportunity in that space that in Kentucky allows sports gambling. Like there's a huge marketing opportunity there. What does it look like? We're trying to figure that out, but we're keeping an ear to the ground to see, what direction those turn.
With the inconsistent NCAA, we have to be strong there. Michigan maybe can, spend
how
some
about
money.
all that?
Maybe can spend other money, that money somewhere else because they don't have to worry about it as much.
That's a hefty fine. It's a hefty fine.
Texas Roadhouse, actually, I just saw this on the news yesterday morning. They just bought another building over there, and they're going to expand their headquarters. So, and I don't know if anybody's ever been. I know y'all heard me talk about it. I had to go to the headquarters a couple of months ago for some business, and I went there. They've got an actual Texas Roadhouse restaurant in the base of it. You walk in. I thought I was going into no, I went into the wrong door.
Unbelievable.
And it's just like a full restaurant full with table. It's just ridiculous. So,
and incredible branding.
Yeah,
they do a great job. And I think that there's companies like GE, there's companies like UPS. UPS obviously has been a long time supporter of us. What does it look like on the NIL side?
Right.
I think that's what everybody's trying to figure out is everybody has the static signage. Everybody's got the ability to put their name on a brick and mortar. Like, how do you actually interact with the community and your customer base through athletes?
Amazon might be a good one. I mean, there's a huge presence in our area with they have 8 or 9 warehouses around here and, depots where they swap out for Amazon Prime. And obviously they're probably the most profitable company in the world.
No, it's insane. Yeah, they're killing it.
Roadhouse also, I think, owns Jaggers and another restaurant chain, but I don't remember what that third one
was. Jaggers.
Bubba's, yes.
Oh,
yes.
Do they own Bubba's?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I knew it was another one and it just slipped my mind. Probably because I had such bad service the last time I was there.
So is Bubba's.
Yeah, I've been there once. Bubba's is not bad. The Jaggers, the thing about that is, man, you get a burger, some fries, and a milkshake, and it's like $13.
Yeah.
That's incredible value.
And it's
not a sponsor, by the way, but incredible value.
It's not a small burger either.
Should be a sponsor.
Not a small burger either. It's like
no doubt
bang for your buck.
Zach,
it's an adult-sized burger.
Oh, yeah.
What about you? If you could instantaneously sign a new NIL partner for Louisville, who would it be?
I think we might look at the cell phone companies, maybe AT&T.
That'd be tremendous.
Just thinking on, looking at my phone right now, you look at your phone 100 times a day.
At least. Well, if you have updates to the 502Circle, probably about 500 times a day because there's so many updates.
Not good.
Love it. I think for me, I'm thinking a little bit deeper, and y'all know me. Those that watch, wrestling fan, I would do a WWE NIL kind of deal because they are doing NIL deals. Mm-hmm. And the one thing a lot of people don't realize, and when I say a lot of people, I mean people that are a little bit younger than we all are. Well, not Dan's like 19 and a half, but the rest of us, I'm just kidding. OVW, which is the system that feeds to that fed to WWE. Fed them John Cena, Randy Orton, Batista, Brock Lesnar, The Miz, Shelton Benjamin. Pretty much anybody that has been successful has had a stint in OVW. So just from that standpoint, if you could, and OVW is still running strong. They had a mini-series type deal with Netflix last year or the year before, maybe. They filmed it the year before. They aired it last year. I think that would be a good one because they are doing stuff. WWE announced last summer that they were doing a partnership with the Big 12. So they're at all their championship games with the title belts and stuff. So that
I feel like they've been doing that for 3 or 4 years now. Yeah. You see the Undertaker or somebody present them with a championship belt. And
Sean, what about you?
I was thinking about it, and I think maybe Churchill Downs.
Okay.
Just because, I mean, it's iconic, and they're right next door, just like UPS is. So,
easy peasy. Churchill Downs, just like that.
Yep.
Love it. Sam?
Well, Dan said it. Sean said it. I would say more UPS. because they do have a school of work program that works with JCBS students. Also, they have the Metro College thing that they also help pay students, U of L students and JCC students. So they already have a partnership with the community and with students. So I would love to see a partnership, a deeper partnership with UPS when it comes to U of L sports.
I'm just strictly thinking who's got more money to give. I mean, I know it's, but I mean, just getting down to brass tacks, right?
Definitely.
Like what companies can give us the most money,
Sure.
right? To pass on to these athletes, so we can, like you said earlier, Jeff is only looking at like a certain percentage of players, but how can we spread the wealth to 80 players, right? Yeah. And still get what we need in men's basketball, women's basketball, volleyball, all, the five revenue sports, so that's where I'm looking and thinking, what can we do? And then as well with that is that's how you can, what is it? Market your key players more nationally, Amazon. You got Amazon commercial. Everybody gets Amazon. Everybody gets it nationally, So like if you can run a commercial with Miller Moss, who's this guy? Oh, he plays for U of L. Maybe that brings an eyeball to U of L that didn't before. So that's where I'm kind of like,
and a lot of these things happen. Like a lot of those deals happen because of the quality stuff put on the on social media by Flow Street Media,
right?
And I think that it all starts there. Like how high quality of a production can we put out when we're interviewing or talking through what our athletes care about,
right?
And that spreads. Like that's the only place that you can really get that information across, unless you're walking right into a C-suite, right? So. Right. If you have the opportunity to get in front of our athletes, get them on camera and explain or pull out of them the stories of how they got to Louisville and what they're all about, that to me that's the most impactful way to impact NIL. Yeah. And that's what's we got out in front of us. Kentucky just put it together this week. They just did their own thing. They basically Flow Street Media. It's just started this week. We did it a year ago. So it's like we got out on the forefront, and that was great. But now the rules have changed, and like none of us plan on falling behind. So we're trying to figure out what's next and how to continue to grow this.
Step forward.
I'm shocked they figured it out this quickly. With schools now allowed to pay athletes directly, has your role within the NIL sphere changed?
Not really. No, I mean, we as crazy as this is, we were doing a lot of what the same things that we're going to do moving forward, and same things we're doing now. From a front office standpoint, like we've been doing that for a couple of years now. We are now able to add additional support, which I love, and I think like you look at Vince Morrow, man. Like, are you kidding me? Like, dude's a stud. So like his ability, because like I'm gonna be the first one to tell you, like I'm not a professional talent evaluator, and like I don't. That's where those guys he brings so much experience, so much understanding of the business, so much understanding of how NIL works. Like he was doing it down there in the SEC for the last 5 years or however long NIL has been a thing at this point. So to be able to add him to the team, and he can push us in the right direction and continue to guide us to make sure we're taking the right players, make sure we're making the right decisions. And this isn't just a, hey, a guy has, he's ranked X in the transfer portal, we should take him. Like, Vince knows the kid probably, or knows somebody around him, right? It just gives us such a competitive advantage. And then Cloman's taking on a little bit of an additional role of basketball as well, just to continue to push that effort, because those guys have been ridiculous. So it's been cool to watch that staff grow, and the way they work together is unbelievable. Pat has one of the best cultures in the country, if not the best culture in the country, and that makes for a lot of keeps the standard high on our end, if you want to put it that way. Pat's got pretty high expectations, and we do our best to make sure we meet them. And that's how you end up with rosters like the one we have right now. So hopefully we can keep repeating that. And my role doesn't change a lot. I will say this though, like I want to keep getting better at what we do. I'm hungry. I'm anxious to get rolling on a lot of this. There's still a lot of question marks out there, but I have no intention of us like putting up a yellow light or a stop sign. Like, we're going to blow right through it and try and figure out how to win championships. And Josh is behind that. His team is behind that. And both, you know what though? Like, a heck of a lot of credit to both of our head coaches.
Yeah.
Because they dove into it. They believe in it. They trust us. They trust people around them to go make the right decisions. And now we have even more ammo, putting guys in position like Vince and Chloe to continue to build this out. I mean, there's just so much upside here that I think, the future's bright.
I was going to ask you that a little bit later, but I'll ask you that now. There is a tremendous difference between Kelsey and Brom and prior coach A and prior coach B, which we don't say their names on the show. Sure. It's banned. Because we know that men's basketball prior head coach A would tell everybody around him that he wasn't getting any help. But we knew that wasn't the case. You all had plenty of help to give them. He just didn't embrace that whole thing whatsoever. And I'm not even really sure prior coach B in football seemed like a wonderful person. I don't have anything against him. Sam didn't like his coaching style or a lot about him. But he, the phrase "Golly Gee Willikers" came into fruition with him. No, we don't say that either.
No,
but
thank you, Bearcat.
Oh yeah, thank you. Yes, thank you, Cincinnati. But it seemed like it could have been over his head a little bit. And I'm not asking you to throw any dirt on them, but as far as that has been a tremendous difference between the old staff and the new guard. Is these guys want to use it. They want to, like you said, they want to also be efficient with it. They want to be thrifty with it, but they want to hit hard with it, culture-wise. Now, as you all know, that me and Peyton sponsors the show. Sure. One of my good buddies. For him to be a part of that coaching staff, there's no way it could have been a seedy situation or a negative situation. He's all positive. He's all gas, no brakes, all the time.
Talking about Peyton?
Yeah, Peyton. Just amazing person from top to bottom. Even got us in Freedom Hall a couple of weeks ago to do the show with him from the TBT. But just my interactions with Chloe and shout out to him. I didn't know he had he was doing that as well. Pat, just Ronnie, all of them, man. They're just such good people.
No doubt.
And we all know this. We've all had coaches that were good people and absolutely sucked at coaching. And we've had horrible individuals as coaches. They were amazing coaches on the field. I don't mean at U of L. I mean like in our personal lives.
It's like that in any business.
These guys are both good people and good coaches, and they know how to do what they're doing. How has Louisville evolved NIL-wise over the past 2 years?
Man, that's a great question. And to be honest, like we've complete 180. We've had a ton of success, and I don't want to get too into how the sauce is made, but at the same time, it's come through trust. The thing that we take a lot of pride in is that we're all competitive. Everybody on our side of the table is competitive as all get out. We want to win every negotiation. We want to win every recruiting battle. Like we do not like to lose in anything. And that starts from the top. Starts with Josh. Like pushing that initiative down to get after it. And I think that when you really break it down, one thing that we've done a phenomenal job at is our two head coaches trust us with that process of taking a recruit from the starting line to the closing table and getting a deal signed. Right. And you're not negotiating, like agents aren't negotiating with our coaches. Like at a lot of schools, coaches are not equipped to do that. Coaches are not trained to do that. Their minds don't think like that. And they also have a million other things going on. Mm-hmm. And quite frankly, like we need them to be the best head coaches in the country. We need them to be the best basketball coaches in the country, the best football coaches in the country, the best baseball coaches in the country. We do not need them cutting deals with 18 to 22-year-olds. Right. It also creates, and I hear this from a lot of my colleagues and head coaches, not only in our conference, but in the Power Four, especially on the football side, the dynamic that those negotiations create between the coach and the player is nasty. Think about it. Like if a coach is trying to win a negotiation, telling you everything you're bad at, and a player is like, it's like arbitration in pro sports.
Sure.
Right? Like there's baseball players that come in every after arbitration, they're like, I don't want to play for the Yankees anymore. I heard Brian Cashman bash me for the last 3 months. Like it's real. So we take that emotion out of it.
It absolves the coaches a little bit as well.
That is where we've made our strides in NIL. is because they've trusted us to do that. They've trusted us to be on the front line in the recruiting process, helping get some of these things across the finish line. And then when they get here, like, it's a fresh relationship with the coach, man. They're ready to play. Like, they're ready to win. They're ready to run through a brick wall for these guys. So it's been really good. Obviously, there's a lot of collaboration, a lot of communication there, but at the same time, like, we want to take that negotiation out of their hands and make sure that they don't have to deal with it.
Well, that absolves the coaches a little bit from making, their mouth running too, not saying our coaches would, but they're, making promises they can't
It's human
keep,
nature, dude.
Right?
It's human nature.
You guys talk to them, they
Absolutely.
get there, and like you said, now here you go, coach them up, let's win games.
And JoJo Evans just said it over the weekend. Like, when he came on his recruiting visit, Ron hit him between the eyes. It was like, this is what you're good at, and this is what you're not. This is what we're gonna fix while you're here. A lot of times, these kids are walking into these recruiting visits, and it's like, you're gonna be the starter. You're gonna have a statue out front. Like, bro, that's not real life. It doesn't happen. So we're real with these guys up front.
Yep.
It allows our coaches to be direct with them and tell them, this is how we're going to coach you, and we're not going to sugarcoat it.
Right.
Like, right now, you're not a starter for us. But if you come here for a year and this number is where it's at and you have success, your number is going to look like the guy you want to be. Right. So it's a process. It's not always just a offer that gets somebody slides a piece of paper across the table. Like, this is we have a process. There's a market. We're negotiating every one of these deals, and our head coaches do not have to worry about the minutia of trying to get these guys closed and trying to get contracts across the finish line.
I've always wanted to do that. One of those slide the paper across the table type contract deals. Like, I think the next place I go, that's I'm going to have them submit their offer.
That'd be boss.
I'm gonna let you do it sometime.
Yeah.
You can enjoy it.
Yeah.
Baller. Are collectives prohibited to work directly with the school?
They were,
but not now.
But not now. Yeah, there's they've opened a lot of that up, man. I would say probably the last 18 months it's been really lax, because it was becoming an integral part of what college athletics looked like. You couldn't get too granular. And there's a line, like, our compliance department did a great job of telling us when we needed to stop. And then we would just push Jeff and Pat in those directions to make sure that they knew what we could and couldn't do. And I feel like that's another piece, like Josh giving those guys the initiative to, hey, tell them what they can and can't do so that we can do this the right way. It was so important. Because a lot of athletic directors, man, they just shut the door. Like, hey, we don't want anything to do with the collective. Like, y'all do your thing, we're going to do ours. Well, what winds up happening is you overspend on players. Like, you miscommunicate. You don't get the guys you want. You bad locker room, bad culture. Like, we haven't done that. So
it has to work hand in hand.
Has to. What NFL team doesn't talk, like, what player personnel staff doesn't talk to their coaching staff?
Yeah.
Doesn't happen.
I love the fact that we are both doing a podcast together and watching a football game at the same time. So if y'all see us looking up and around, it's just because it's football season, baby.
What game is this? This is Wake Forest.
This is Louisville versus number 10 Wake Forest.
Oh, is this the eight turnover game?
Yeah, yeah.
This third quarter is phenomenal.
Is this Satterfield's last year?
Yeah,
has to be. This is the Sam Hartman game.
Yeah,
Ashton Gelati, Sam Hartman.
He's the best player that never played for us.
Absolutely. 2 years in a row.
I'll tell you what, man.
Yeah, twice.
The Notre Dame game that we just watched.
Yeah.
And
this is actually a Sam Hartman appreciation podcast.
Tyler Hudson was the one that year, right?
Yeah.
The receiver.
I believe so.
I'm not sure.
He was the one that year, number 0.
Yeah.
Tyon. She would have. Shoo. We had some dudes on those.
Yeah, and he ended up transferring out and not playing, I don't think, very much at his next stop. Did he go to Hudson?
No, that was Tyler Harrell.
He went to Bama.
Harrell transferred out, went to Bama, and
didn't even see the field.
All the THs, I just got them all confused.
Yeah, I don't think he even saw the field for a snap. Yeah, like that was.
Those guys are a little different.
Yeah.
You can be really there's a different. We talk about this all the time. It's a different style of play.
Yeah,
like in the ACC, it's a lot more of a finesse, vertical. You're running up and down the field. Like the SEC, I just saw it in the documentary. Like third down, the SEC is different. That league is physical. It's big up
SEC,
front.
Big Ten.
It looks different. Yeah, the Big Ten too. It just looks different. It's a different style of football.
Pac-12,
and traditionally,
Pac-12, Big 12.
Yeah, traditionally over the last couple of years, it's been really hard for ACC teams to compete with those schools because of the men up front, right?
Yeah.
Now the ACC is starting to get a little bit more in like grown man's league.
Yeah.
The fronts are starting to improve. That's because Jeff has a kind of Big Ten style of play. Jeff's a ground and pound. He's going to run it down your throat and then throw it over your head when he needs to. And you look at what Miami's doing. Miami's massive in the trenches. Clemson's always been big in the trenches. SMU has more money than anybody to spend up front. Like the league is starting to get really good again. It's gonna be an exciting few years.
They got that Dallas money.
Yeah, I don't even know if they have everybody's money. SMU, they're killing it.
It's crazy. Coaches, now you may have mentioned this earlier, but they can directly communicate with you now with all the rules changes, correct?
Yeah. Yep.
How do you communicate with the players?
It depends on the player. A lot of times it's through the agents. I don't have a ton of maybe 10 times a year I'll actually sit in a room and try and negotiate a deal with a player. I don't like to do it because what winds up happening is you negotiate the deal and then you get an agent come in and try and renegotiate it about 10 days later. So we're dealing with a lot of agents. You're dealing with some of the bigger agencies, Excel Sports, Young Money, CAA. You deal with those guys a lot, but then there's also like college sports right now. There are no restrictions around who can be an agent, which is a total tragedy. They say the NCAA. Yeah, right? They say the NCAA has a certification, but I mean that's monitored as well.
The
as the
company
stop sign out
cleared,
front,
and then they can just hire whoever they want. Probably.
Yeah, I mean it's not. It's tough. Yeah, it's been a tough situation. So there's no restrictions around like if you're an NFLPA agent, you have to have a grad degree. There's you got to pass tests. You got to pay a fee. There's none of that in college sports. So you literally, I think they're working on it. The SCORE Act, the Act of Congress is actually pulling fees back, saying it's like 4 to 5% on the fees for agents in college sports, and then also would grant the ability for them to sanction who can and cannot be an agent or player representative. So a lot of times you're dealing with really good agents, and sometimes you get ones that aren't great. But we've been fortunate. We've got a great group of agents that we work pretty closely with, and represent a lot of good players on our rosters. And the one crazy thing about college sports is that they do basketball. Some guys do basketball and football.
Oh.
So you'll negotiate a football contract in December, and then the guy will hit you a month later and be like, "Hey, I got this point guard in the portal. You want him?" Yeah, sure. I love
absolutely
it. Send them my way.
Actually, we would.
It's a lot of fun. It's so crazy that seeing like Clausen on the sideline and some of these is pretty cool. This had to be like 5 years ago now.
2020. What did it say?
22,
right? Yeah, 22. Yeah.
We've had this is year 3 for Brom, so 2 years of Brom, and then last year Satterfield, so 3 years ago.
So it's now almost 4 years ago now.
Yep. Floyd Street Media debuted a couple years ago, and we were so excited about it, and we love it. We've seen it take off. I believe it was one of our viewers, or this may have been my question. It's a pretty good question, so it's probably mine. What is the next big thing that you guys are working on? The evolution. Obviously, if there's something that you can't talk about, then don't. But.
Yeah, we definitely have some of that, but there's some things coming down the pipeline. But I'm going to talk about one thing that we're honing in on right now is athletes unscripted. Sydney's done an unbelievable job of actually showcasing our athletes at a really high level. Not a lot of schools are doing that, pulling that real story out of how they got here, why they're here. And I think that that's important to our community. Like our athletes need to ingrain themselves in the community, and Pat and his staff have done a really good job of that. And Jeff is Louisville sport.
Oh yeah.
So like we're fortunate there. Now we got to tell the story of the guys that they bring here to compete for them.
Sure.
And we've done a really good job of that. Sydney has done an unbelievable job pulling that, off the ground. We started it from scratch. And just, we've got a Jeff interview coming out. There'll be a Vince Morrow interview coming out here shortly. And then, she's going to keep interviewing like the highest caliber coaches and not just Louisville athletics, but ultimately, in college athletics. I think
that's
you guys
awesome.
will love that. And that's a platform that will all go back to supporting Louisville athletes. And there's local brands. Like if you're a local brand right now trying to collaborate with athletes or trying to increase your bottom line from a marketing standpoint, like Fletcher Media, there's not much better value than Fletcher Media. I mean, we're open to working with anybody on anything, on any project. You saw some of the stuff we did with Parlor Pizza, like the content production, the work that we're putting out. It's elite, like it's elite level content that I think just has the legs to grow. And we need every local business to get behind that, because that is going to be a huge differentiator of how true NIL is done, how we put it through NIL Go, the new NIL platform. what real NIL looks like to help our athletes, get over the edge and help Jeff and Pat, right? And put themselves in position to win championships.
We need to get them linked up with Dominique and our cousin, is part owner of Noble Funk.
Oh yeah,
and I don't know
brewery
if
downtown.
Yeah,
let's go.
Yeah, we need to.
I'd love to.
Absolutely, say less.
Broker that.
Absolutely,
make it happen.
Absolutely. I know. Like
we could do some.
Does some post shows there and watch parties, but
we could do some really cool content.
Yeah, let's.
I agree with that. Sure. Next question comes from an anonymous viewer. It says, when are you going to have a CSE takeover at Floyd Street Media? Wait a minute, that's my question. I'm sorry.
Yeah, let's go. You tell me when.
No, you tell me when.
Let's go. Let's get it done.
Let's go. Let's get it.
Get it done. It sounds like a nice collab right there.
I mean,
I love it.
I was thinking that just a minute ago. I was going to save it for my questions at
sure.
the end. But.
Well, look, here's the one thing I will say. Dan, you've been very, very welcoming and inviting to us. Well, and at the time, you didn't know if we were a 10-person podcast or the podcast that we are that gets hundreds of thousands of views and listens a month. So you didn't know us from Adam. And the very first time I was like, hey, can you come on the show? This is like your fourth or fifth.
Always.
First time in person. But when we got this new studio renovated, I was like, got to have him in person. You got to have the man.
This is sweet. Sweet setup.
Dude, thank you. I appreciate that.
I picked out the furniture.
Did you?
Yeah, you.
Oh, yeah. You did pick out the table.
I did.
It looks nice.
It's awesome. I love my little mobile TV too. That could go
that thing
anywhere.
Is beast. What is that? What brand is that?
Is it
LG? Stand by me, go.
So the coolest thing about it,
partnership.
Not a sponsor yet. Not a sponsor yet.
Maybe.
Stand by me, LGE, go, baby.
But you can actually, so you charge it up, then you pull the cord out, you flip it over, and you can take that outside with no cords whatsoever. Awesome. So if we wanted to stream the Louisville football, I mean, we're going to be there at the game.
The volume isn't the best, but you could probably hook a speaker to it.
Sure.
Sure.
All right. Enough of that free advertising for you guys.
LG, stand by me, go. NIL, go. Is that what you?
NIL, go.
I mean, it sounds like a match made in heaven.
Match made in heaven. Let's get it done.
Listen, we're getting stuff done.
I'm gonna email somebody at LG later.
Take care of that, Joey. You're the point person.
Point on that.
Okay.
There you go. See you all the time on social media, posting informative videos, and I will explain what you're doing and how things go. But it gets people pumped up. How important do you think those videos are?
I mean, I don't know how important they are. Like, I'm not gonna. I try
Pretty
to
important.
I hope so. I hope so. I try to get as much information out about NIL as possible. And the one thing that, probably about a year ago when I really started it, we were actually in the Bahamas when I shot the first video with basketball the first time for the summer trip.
Mm-hmm.
And I was having a conversation with Adam Brenneman, who Adam's built an unbelievable brand around college football. And he started with Penn State. And he was like, hey, you should start with Louisville, like grow it. See how the fan base reacts. Like, see if you can pump out content to help them better understand the NIL setup at the time. And NIL has grown so fast, and there's been, my the team that I have behind me helping me with some of that has been phenomenal. Adam's been great in allowing me to take on some of his team to help me out. And to be honest, like, we sat around a table and we were like, no one's doing this. No one's talking about NIL. No one's actually being real about what's going on. Let's be the voice of it. And I think that it all started, with me just wanting to educate athletes, educate fans, educate the people around me to understand that NIL wasn't really like everybody kept saying the Wild West and this, it's a con. It's like NIL was pretty mature for the last couple of years, man. Like, there were contracts, like there's deals in place. Like, you get what you're promised. Like, you do this, you do that. Like, it was all pretty straightforward. You're building rosters in real time. You're negotiating in the transfer portal. There was a lot that happened. And it wasn't taboo, man. Like, it was pretty cool. Like, it was cool how college sports was developing. And I just wanted to make sure that people knew that. Because I think it's important for sports business. I think it's important for athletic directors to understand. And I think now that it's grown, we sat and just took an approach of, hey, how do we educate as many people as possible on what's actually going on in college sports and what's going on in the NIL landscape. And, we've been really fortunate. There's people who have bought into it. I think it's grown almost like, like almost 4 times since since I started myself, and I'll forever be grateful of that. And there's just a lot of people who they still reach out and ask questions that, to be honest, like, there's times I don't even know the answer. Like, dude, this is a great question. Like, let me dig in and try and figure out how this works in tennis, because I don't know the answer to that.
Right.
And I think that it's made me better. I hope that it's made Louisville sports better. And ultimately, like, it's not something that I look at it. I'm like, man, I want to be on camera all the time. Like, this is something that I want to educate people. I want to help people. And ultimately, like, I want to make sure that when a kid knows that you got to negotiate with me for an NIL deal, they can go to my profile and understand that I get it. And they understand they're dealing with a professional in the NIL space, that they're not just walking in with somebody who's going to try and break them.
Right.
I'm trying to find a fair deal for both sides, and I'm trying to put the best roster possible on the field so that we can go win championships. We're going to maximize every dollar, and we're going to treat it like it's ours. We're going to treat the money like it's ours, because at the end of the day, like, we got to go find it. We got to go fundraise it. So every dollar to me is personal. That's why I'm so appreciative of our donors. Like, it's I don't ever want anybody to beat us for money or take advantage of us or us overpay for a player. And I think that's an advantage of ours. It's a competitive advantage of ours. And that's why, we get a lot of players for really good deals, but they're players that contribute to our culture. And give both of our head coaches a lot of kudos for taking that approach. They say no to a lot of guys too. I don't know how public but we've gone different directions, especially the quarterback position last year, when there was, a guy that was number one pick in the draft was a potential option. Right. And Jeff said, man, I can work with Tyler Shuck now. And it's amazing the fact that they're able to do that, and they coach at that high of a level. It's special. Yeah. And all the credit in the world goes to them for giving us a positive platform to continue to talk about. And even from your guys' shoes, man, like, it's so cool to watch our athletes continue to compete, and you guys get to keep talking about it. Yep. And the more that we win, the more exciting it is, and the more fun you guys have.
Yeah, because it was rough for a little bit there. It was rough, but having the stars that we have on the show,
that might be an understatement. A little rough.
Yeah, it's like a corn cob on the backside.
Yes, absolutely. Outside of the normal, I saw you post a video the other day, which I thought was very, very cool. Outside of the normal avenues of fan donations, what do you see that our fans are doing that other schools are not doing? And also, any cool didn't you posted something? Was it Coastal Carolina that are doing like free? Is it free concessions?
They're doing free concessions this year at football, which is really cool. Oh, wow. So you buy your ticket now. I'm going to dive into it a little bit more, because I think they're doing a great job there from a fan standpoint. They're growing like crazy at Coastal, and they always have had a little bit of like an outside the box approach. I give them a lot of credit for that. We tried it a few years ago when there were I don't know if you guys remember when Vince did something similar to that during would have been during the Satterfield era, coming off of the that 2-10 season at the end of Bobby's era. Just to get people back in the stands, like, make it more of a family environment. Build up the fan base, create true multi-generational fans for Louisville football and Louisville men's basketball. Because there was a stretch there where we went through a huge exodus, and now it's so cool. Like, you go back into the venues and they're packed.
Yep.
So you give Vince a lot of credit, but then give Josh a lot of credit for continuing to push this thing along and keep buying into. It's about the fan, and Laura Clemente and Diego and Swasi, like, their staff, like, they've done a great job of. Season ticket member programs. We never had that before. Like, it's basically like a pro team. We basically that system's run like a pro team, where you can get a Christmas card photo on the field. You can do a locker room tour on a Saturday in June, and you get to see the actual behind the scenes. There's perks and actual relatability to every dollar that you're spending. And it's been cool to watch that happen. I think that's something that we're doing that not a lot of schools do. Not a lot of schools take the time to even think about doing something like that.
Yeah.
So it's
not fun. Just a ticket. You're not just buying a ticket.
Exactly. And we know it's expensive.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I think Josh will be the first to tell you, like, it's expensive. And, but it keeps the city ticking. And there's Michael Duda says this all the time when we talk about NIL and looking at the big picture, because sometimes it's hard, man. Like, it's a lot of money. Like,
a lot.
You sit there and you're like, whew, like, that's a big contract we're all about to sign. Are we okay? Like, is everyone all right here?
Sure.
Anybody need the paddles? So like, you sit there, like, you're looking around the table, and then you go to the Yum and you see how much joy that can bring the city of Louisville. Like what else could we do in this city for, let's just say it's, $6, $7, $8 million. Take that amount of money. How do you take that money and provide that much joy to the city of Louisville? Can you do it? That's going to be really hard.
I don't know a way.
There's no other way to do it. So that's why when when we talk about why we do what we do, it's for you guys. It's for the fan base to continue to grow and get behind these guys. And that's just going to continue to get better and better. And hopefully we're hanging a new banner up there soon.
We need to be putting the old one back up.
Had to segue you guys.
I love that.
Had to get the rage bait going.
I would have done it Thursday morning or Friday morning.
I would have been on the way that day to put it back up.
I'm going to send you up there to do it.
I'll do it.
All the free legal advice Josh has gotten this week, I'm sure, is pretty valuable.
Listen,
Morgan got Luke.
Josh is a great sport about it, man. So Josh is a great sport about it. Josh does a great job with it.
As a former Cardinal, I would love to go up there and speak to somebody who can get this taken care of.
I mean, I'll hang the banner back for him.
I'll help.
I'll put you on the lift.
I'll get tethered in.
the whole deal.
Yeah.
Would you do it?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I love it.
That'd be great.
Heck yeah.
Do it at the first basketball game. Absolutely.
Yeah,
for sure.
In a Louisville costume?
Whatever.
I don't know if you can get a suit big enough for me, but
I love it.
Breaking news: Higgy's going to move to Coastal Carolina for some reason. He heard about the
free concessions.
That's pretty good.
Hey, that's a good seller right there.
Love you, Higgy. I'm just messing with you. Look, we've been very serious, but I want to ask a question that's been brought up to me. Got to put on the serious face for a second. There was something that came out last year that they intended to cast shame on our collective, and they intended checks were bouncing was the phrase that we heard a lot. How did those rumors make you feel, and how did you love the fact that people got so scared by what y'all were doing that they had to make up those kind of lies?
I mean, honestly, I don't know if I ever even thought twice about them.
There you go.
There was a little while there, man. We were I was getting bashed on Twitter, and I was like, dang. I was like, at least do it when we're not making pay,
right.
At least get me when we're not doing, when we're doing,
at least
something
when
wrong.
It's true.
Yeah. And dude, the other thing that I want to tell everybody, every one of our donors, and I'm glad that y'all didn't see any of us while this was it's been the hardest. I mean, challenging. This has been the most challenging 4 or 5 years of my career, hands down. And that goes for Josh, goes for everybody on the fundraising team, goes for our head coaches. Every single day, things were changing. Every single day, you were trying to figure out how to hit monthly payroll, and it grew fast. And it's not like we're sitting on we're not one of those schools like Alabama or Georgia or USC who just have
Texas A&M,
Texas A&M, Texas. I'm not trying to, but we competed with them.
Right.
Think about some of the recruiting battles we were in over the last couple of years, and especially, I mean, look at the basketball side. You look at, St. John's is sitting in the middle of New York City, and Rick's got all the resources in the world, right? That's a good thing. We love that. We hope other schools keep getting better because it just challenges us to keep getting better. It challenges our fan base to keep getting better. But when you really break it down, man, it's been a grind. Okay. And was it always pretty? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. And anybody any collective in the country that sits here and tells you everything was sunshine, pineapples, and freedom for the last 3 years, they're out of their mind. They're lying to you straight up. I get phone calls from agents now that are, collectives are still hundreds of thousands of dollars that haven't been paid since last year. And you're like, dude, if that happened to us for 2 hours, I was getting aired out on Twitter,
right?
And so we take a lot of pride in what we did. And we're not going to ever say that it was easy, but we weren't doing it for us. It was always about the fan base, about getting the athletes, the most that we possibly could. And we did a lot of good, man. We did a lot of good. We did the best that we possibly could through the last few years. And, UK had their stretches too. That's a primary of where those comments were coming from. But
absolutely,
we know,
and that's okay. I'm sure our fan base would take their opportunity to do it if we could too. So it's it's all fun, man. It's it's been cool to watch those two programs go at it for a long time, and I love the. I have I know y'all are going to probably fry me for this, but I have respect for the basketball side, what they're doing right now. It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be a fun couple of years.
Do y'all know how to disconnect his mic?
It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be fun.
I mean, I think it's better when we're both good.
No, there's no question. What is the point?
I want to be
no doubt.
a good I want to beat a good team down the road.
Y'all are athletes. Y'all played you're competitors.
I don't
want to go out there and play some.
Most of us did anyway. Sean can't even get on the playing.
He played wiffle ball.
I've played a lot of softball against Zach. I know the objective is not to play anybody bad.
Sean played flag wiffle ball.
There you go. Flag wiffle ball.
How's that work?
No, it's over there. Past you, brother. He played flag wiffle ball, if that even makes sense. That's how afraid of contact he was. Like flag wiffle ball.
Flag.
I was really good at it, though.
I love that.
Get out of here, Sean.
You were the only person on the team.
They call those dreams.
Yeah.
Let's not talk about Sean's dreams. What is speaking of Twitter, we all know how rational they can be, by the way. Love the Twitter supporters and stuff. What's your favorite nickname that Cardinations bestowed upon you?
Oh man, well Brady would tell you it's Danny Two Furs.
That's my favorite.
Brady loves that one. Brady Brom eats that one up. He wears me out.
I love that one too. Last question before we get to the end of the show. How do you see NIL evolving over the next 5 to 10 years?
I think 5 to 10 is a really long period, but I think the next 3 to 5 years is going to happen fast. I think we're going to have a period here. Probably a lot of these happen in 3-year cycles in college sports and in business in general. The next 3 years are going to be ups and downs. It's going to be really challenging. There's not going to be a lot of clarity in what we're doing. I would say that after 3 years, I would say the process will begin on some sort of collective bargaining agreement. Mm-hmm. There's way too much legal liability out there right now, and that's just where it's headed. I mean, I think anybody who's kind of in the mix and dealing with this day to day, there's not I don't see a way out unless Congress grants an antitrust exemption, and even if that happens, it's going to be interesting. But I think after the next 3 years, you're going to start to see some real movement on a CBA.
Well, that was kind of like one of my follow-ups was like with the revenue share and with NIL and, athletes signing these deals, like you've seen some that sign the deals and then just leave, right?
Yep.
So it's not only to protect the players, but also the programs, right? So player A signs for $100,000. I'm just going to throw a figure out $100,000. Well, the school wants to get not only their they want their value out of that deal 100%. As well, right? So, signing contracts and things like that where, all right, I'm signing $100,000 a year for 3 years. Well, if I leave before then, I've got to.
You got to pay it back.
It's like coaches get fired, they want to leave, right? They have to do buyouts. So that way players aren't just leaving with all of that money and getting off scot-free and then going and signing a new NIL deal with another team.
In college sports for a while, the pendulum was all the way on the school side, right? A lot of the schools, the teams had all the control. Absolutely. Now, during the last 3 to 5 years, the pendulum swung completely the opposite direction, where the athlete had all the control, the athlete had all the leverage.
There'll be some balance.
Now you can start to see with this new revenue share agreements, the 20.5 that can get distributed through the schools. You're starting to see it swing back a little bit. Not a lot just yet, because I think the settlement NIL Go is all intended for it to cap earnings. But there are a lot of smart agents, a lot of smart attorneys out there, and there are a lot of schools trying to find an edge. So I think that there's a lot of times fans need to just ask themselves a couple of simple questions. It's like, one, are they employees? If the answer to that is yes, well, then we need to collectively bargain, right? If the answer to that's no, then we can't cap their earnings. Right. So it's like, sometimes it's a lot more simple than it really seems to be. And that's why I think you're probably looking at like a 3-year trend here where it'll have some ups and downs. Schools will get after it. It'll create a floor just like, it did with Alston money and all this. So the 20.5 will get injected into the industry and at every school. Athlete earnings will probably stay about the same and increase a little bit. And then once they start to put a CBA in place, it'll all level out.
Once SEC schools and Big Ten schools start losing players to Big Ten or SEC schools, like a bunch of them, that's when it'll really change, because that's when they'll probably get Congress involved.
The most
where okay, you can only do this, so now that
No doubt.
gets a little bit, because now you're killing us,
sure.
and we're losing these players, and we're not as good. And this, no, we need to get that. We need to pull that back. So
You're right. One of the most intriguing things to watch over the next couple of years is going to be how those SEC schools and Big Ten schools interact with men's basketball, because they want to win in football, and that's what pays the bills.
And
right?
let's be honest, man. Like, you've noticed over the past 2 seasons, like, is Alabama what they were 4 years ago?
Not what they were.
Georgia. I mean, there's more.
Yeah, there's
a
more
little
parity.
bit more parity.
It's not that they're not what they were 4 years ago. It's that the other teams around them are what they were 4 years ago.
Yeah,
absolutely.
they've gotten better for sure.
And especially in those conferences, because I mean, what happens if let's just say a player is outside of, let's just say the Big Five in the ACC. It's Louisville, SMU, Clemson, Miami, and maybe North Carolina. If you're outside of those 5 schools, a lot of those players are transferring out to either go to one of those 5 schools or go to the SEC or Big Ten.
Right.
So there's a lot of movement going on that's making those rosters really top heavy. And I just think it's going to be really hard to sustain success at schools that aren't investing in a specific amount at football. But if let's just say the cap is somewhat relevant, let's just say, to be competitive in the SEC, you got to spend $20 million on football of the 20 and a half and
Right.
cap. Like you say, you got to pretty much spend the whole cap to be competitive in football in the SEC. Well, what do you do with men's basketball? I've heard schools coming in with $2.5 million to spend. Like, you're just not going to be competitive with that. So my question is do you think that some of the best coaches in the SEC or their schools, like, think about some of the schools in the SEC that probably are going through Ole Miss, Auburn, all that. Think about the head coaches.
Well, no, I was going to.
They're not going to just say, like, all right, I'm not worried about it. I'll win with that amount of. No, absolutely not.
What do you think Nick Saban
So what
retired?
happens?
That's why Nick Saban retired.
100%. You're right.
Exactly why, because he didn't want to have to deal with navigating that. And Alabama has tried to become a dual sports.
Yeah, they're
like with their basketball, men's basketball. So like it's like
part of it. Yeah,
ran my course here. I'm out. You know,
no doubt.
Chatline, we're not ignoring you. We just wanted to get to the halfway point before we shouted you guys out. Robert Holt, what's up, fellas? 13 days. Absolutely. Can't wait. James Garland says, what's up, Bird Gang? And womanless Sean. Sean, you're catching strays on the chat line, bro. Listener Babu says, this question's for Dan. Wondering if there is a day you envision where the 502 Circle is used to get players on campus and the new rev sharing is used to keep them on campus if they are not turning pro.
Definitely. There's definitely I'm not saying for sure, but I think there is a world where a lot of revenue share is handling the current roster, and then guys are starting to get compensated in high school. Now, I don't know if the NCAA is trying to get their arms around that right now, some of the high school recruiting inducements from an NIL standpoint, but it's going to be really interesting because I don't know if they can prohibit any of those third-party NIL deals, especially for high school kids.
Yeah, I think
especially if they're not signed.
NIL gets them in the door, and then revenue share keeps them.
Kicks in when they get here.
Yeah.
Hickey said he would love to see some 502 Circle events in Nashville. Had a couple of when we were asking Dream. Higgy's Higgy.
What's up, Higgy?
Well, they do some alumni
I know,
stuff.
but he's the biggest U of L fan that never comes to Louisville.
I know.
And he
I
lives
love that.
2 hours away.
Keep rolling. Keep it going.
He lives 2 hours away or less.
We asked a question earlier about Dream NIL matchups. We've had a couple Texas Roadhouses, a couple UPSs, any and all bourbon companies, Danos. That would be a good one.
Seasoning.
I
got Dano.
Cashmere says, what's up, everybody? What's up, Cashmere? Babu says, without mentioning any names, how good is the 2026 recruiting class looking?
Football or basketball?
Basketball.
Be strong.
Very strong.
It'll be fine.
Higgy named 15 restaurants. Come on, Higgy, for the love of God.
We didn't want to stoke the fire any, but how's the
stoke the fire? Calm down.
Stoke the fire.
Garrett Hoover says one of the best NIL collectives in the country. It's great our coaches have embraced it and it shows. Bubba says everybody looking professional in their polos except Sean. No, he just meant that Sean looks like a hot mess.
Sam didn't even wear his CSE polo. Come on.
Babu says this NIL conversation is fascinating. Thank you for all the short videos on social media keeping us updated, which was my point earlier. Like, not that there was too many of the it's like you get informed the right amount and you get the information. Like, not everybody. Not everybody is versed or,
always comment. So I try to get back on those. On it. If you have comments, questions,
I'm fascinated by it.
Always comment. Always put something in the comments. I try and get back to all those. Get as much information out there as we can.
Let's see. That was okay. Higgy wanted to let you all know that was his question. Okay, Higgy.
Good stuff.
Well, Chick-fil-A's not open on Sunday, so he had a little extra time on his hands.
I would love to see I'd love to see a Chick-fil-A partnership with baseball.
Oh yeah,
Dan McDonald's like that. Like the poster child for something like that.
Oh yeah,
I would love to see Higgy in a dunk tank, as long as it could keep him up long enough for somebody to hit that target.
That's called a swimming pool.
Fair enough.
Sorry, not sorry.
Look, he's laughing. Y'all can't see him, but I can. I told him he couldn't get on camera.
That's funny.
Got a question at games. Okay, this is an idea. Okay, Babu says, at games, can you all have something set up at the concession stands that allows you to donate a quarter or 50 cents for every beer bought? Now, I know that's something that has been discussed.
Like rounding up.
Yeah. I like that. We have the roundup model. A lot of times it's hard to integrate stuff like that from a technology standpoint. We have to kind of play within the means of what the technology can do at both venues. But man, make sure you get to the concessions. Make sure you round up. It's a great opportunity to support. Few cents here and there. You'd be crazy. You guys would be amazed at how much that actually generates for us. It's big time.
Brianna Willman says, "Hey Zach, Zach getting some love. We're gonna get to you in a second.
That's my
Zach,
wife's best friend.
Yeah, I got some questions.
She lives in North Carolina, actually.
Okay,
I got questions.
Get some. We got some questions for Zach.
I'll be in NC briefly for about an hour in a couple weeks.
Tell me when I can roll because I want to kick it off.
Gotcha. Garrett says, "Little bro down the road is just peanut butter and jealous."
Got a good one.
Mossy Oak, our text line sponsor, says, "What's up, crew? What's up, Mossy Oak?" Garrett Hoover says, "Transparency has become the greatest equalizer. There still is the quiet talk behind the curtain, but it's less than what it was. It seems."
What's that mean?
I don't know.
Is that more of like, because Vince actually started a lot of that, and Josh has done a great job of like, there's a lot more transparency around what we're doing in athletics. There's a lot more of us that are accessible. And I think
absolutely
that's important. To an extent. Right? There's always going to be things going on behind the curtain that it's better. Honestly, for y'all's mental sake, it's better that y'all don't know about it.
That's any business.
Any business is like that, and I think that the more that
I get told that all the time, keep this under your hat.
The more pressure that we have on us, like the better we'll perform. And I think that we've been transparent about that. You guys hear a lot about the guys we're recruiting. You hear a lot about how the roster's being built and how money's being spent. Like it's not as much of a we do what we want and you're gonna like it. Like it's not the case. We're constantly taking input and taking feedback and trying to put the best product on the field and on the court for you guys.
I'm sure this is no relation, but Andrew Beckmann tuning in on YouTube wants to know what's the one thing Coach Beckmann is looking forward to the most in this new season with his new team.
I'm ready to win the 6th region.
I love that.
I thought, listen, what else do you need to say? So I guess that's his follow-up was, what are your thoughts of the 6th region?
The 6th region is always going to be home. 7th region, a little bit better, but the 6th region has always been home for me. So that's where I'll stay.
Is Dawson the 6th region as well?
Dawson's in the 6th region.
I couldn't remember. I thought so.
Let's really quickly.
Are there any big time arms in the region?
PRP's always got a couple arms.
PRP's good.
The Sales always has a couple arms. As far as big time arms, it's been a while since we've seen anybody.
Yeah.
Let's re-shout our sponsors out really quickly as we get to this middle part. Fitness Market, 4 Pegs, Collision Course Crew, Cherry Pick and Shoot 360, Mossy Oak, Planet Fitness, Rally House, Beckman's Fine Blades, and Josh Jarbo from Remax Realty. Zach, let's stay on you for a second. What led to your decision? Now, I noticed you brought some sort of a bag in here with you.
I did. I actually got you a gift.
Listen, I like this because Asad Ali started this a couple of weeks ago, bringing gifts. Let's
great.
Let's see what we got.
Special made.
What? Doss Dragons baseball jersey. Let's go, baby.
That's big time.
I love it.
Can they see this on the camera?
They can.
Let's go.
It looks good.
Heck yeah.
I love
You
it.
can add that to the collection.
Listen, I got all my 50. Look, my 55 Louisville baseball jersey there, the basketball, my football,
cool.
my high school jersey. Yeah, I'll put it right up. I'm not throwing it over there because I don't care about it. I'm just tossing it over there. You got it. What led to your decision to change schools? Because I know you were happy at Doss.
A lot, really. Doss is always going to be home for me. It's Danny McCready gave me my first opportunity as a head baseball coach, and I'll always be grateful. I love the school. I love the community. The people I work with are second to none. But when the opportunity came open for Fern Creek, my wife went to Fern Creek. There's a lot of tradition there. There's a sense of community and belonging. And I'll say this, I've said this since the day I got hired there. It's a sleeping giant. They just need some consistency, and that's what I intend to bring to them.
Absolutely.
Dan, you said you had some questions for Zach. Go ahead.
Yeah, give me the scoop on the business. How'd you start your business?
Well, me and my buddy Brent Welch cut grass back when we were in college and high school, and I enjoy cutting grass. So it was something to do during the off season, as I'm a school teacher. So I started it up in 2022, and I actually stepped away from teaching. So when I stepped away from teaching, business blew up real fast. I intended to go back in the fall and the winter to substitute teach. So I ended up actually only missing a couple months of school, but I hired a little worker for me. He actually played for me at Doss. My worker Eli, he cuts Jeremy's grass every Wednesday.
Yes,
and he's really just kept it afloat for me. I mean, we've grown immensely in the last 3 years. We're actually going into year 5 next year. So yeah, that's really kind of
the biggest lesson you've learned from an entrepreneur standpoint.
Don't take things personally.
Love it.
Everybody's going to
life in general.
Yeah.
Right.
Don't take it personally.
Listen, if you want to get your grass cut, Beckmann's Fine Blades. I'm not really sure who that is in the logo. It doesn't look much like you, but give them a call at 502. I thought it was Eli for a second.
But it could be Eli.
502-445-0395. Make sure you give him a call because he does. I mean, a lot of people. That's another thing I'll say. We have a lot of great lawn care people in the University of Louisville community. Shout out to our guy Bill Jones. He used to take care of the yard. Gary the Redbird. He did yards. He stopped doing this area out here.
That's my guy.
And who's the one that's on 93.9 all the time? Benji.
Yeah,
the lawn guy. I mean, and they're all great people. So shout out to those guys here in the community.
Yeah, I need to get you come over and check our mom's yard out. See,
anytime.
Yeah,
he great job. Like honestly, and everybody's been. I'm not saying that. So I changed lawn guys because they stopped servicing the area out here. Rob Black at Derby City was another one, but they all have stopped doing this area out here. So I hit up Zach and I was like, "Look, you should have been my first call anyway." But I had sponsorship deals with these other guys first. And he was like, well, I'll be a sponsor. Let's get this together. And it came it happened very fast, very organically.
Some form of NIL, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Jeremy got a jersey out of it.
I did.
I used to get my haircut at Beachmont Barbershop.
Beachmont Barbershop.
Because we used to play them every Sunday in softball.
Yeah.
Literally, like, I realized it was 5 minutes from the office. You used to ride over there and get a haircut. I got my haircut there for a couple of years, man.
I'm surprised he didn't mess your lineup or something.
He had it figured out.
Nah, he's a big Cardinal fan. It's my one of my good friends, Andrew Beeler. He owns that barbershop.
He had it figured out.
He's awesome. He cuts a couple of the baseball guys.
I'm not in that area as much anymore.
I make
my man Ricky. You played him every week. Like I'm gonna mess his hairline up a little bit because he's Not
we were
because
stacked
he couldn't, not because he didn't know what he was doing, just because
do it on purpose.
Yeah. No, but it's crazy, like the power of sports, like the
it
connection of all that, and that's where like it can grow your business. I'm proud of you, man. That's awesome. Congrats on getting the new business started.
Appreciate that.
Going back to what you're saying, like connecting the city and the fans with sports, like that's why the city is always the number one market for March Madness, and it's probably one of the biggest reasons we never get pro sports teams.
Sure.
Because we put all of our focus and energy and everything sports related into, U of L athletics. And you got the other school down the road that has fans here. Like this region just puts all their eggs in that basket, and we treat them like our pro sports teams. And here for too long, it seems like it's going to be treated like pro sports anyway. You know,
yeah, it's crazy. I hope that it still keeps a little bit of a college flair to it.
Yeah.
Though. You know, how do we? And that's, you know, maybe a little bit of a frustration of mine with college sports and where it's at right now. And total transparency is like, man, put the right people in the room. Like let's have an let's take an entrepreneurial approach to this thing. Right now, nobody, like, there's no rules.
Yeah.
So like let's do it. Let's work on it together and find the right people to provide a new, young, energetic way to do this. And I think there are people to do that. You know, they haven't quite figured that out yet, but it's important because college athletics is important for a lot of reasons, and it's not pro sports for a lot of reasons. So hopefully they still keep the integrity of it and put the right people in the room to make the decisions.
What I would like to see with it all is to add that consistency back to the players being, you know, like right now, every year you've got a new set of,
and I like
you
that.
had to, if you transferred, and I'm not saying that, you know, it needs to be as strict as it used to be, but I think in 3 years, if there's like a CBA or something like that, that's going to
standard contracts would help.
Yeah, it's gonna slow that down. Where every year you had 13 players on the basketball team and 12 of them. The next year you've only got one that's the same player. That gets a little frustrating as a
unless it looks like what.
Well, true.
That's like our roster right now.
Yeah.
But
if
we
it
can lock
the way it looks right
if we
now.
can lock these guys in,
we got
for 2
some
or 3
real.
years,
We did. I mean, I thought
what
that
I
our
mean?
coaches did a great job.
Oh, absolutely.
Like we got some real dudes coming back.
Yeah.
You think about there are sometimes you talk about this roster, right? And I mean this in all the respectful ways. No disrespecting them by this at all. But like you go through the whole thing, you're talking about all this firepower we got, and then it's like Javon Hadley, like, okay, Javon, Case and Pryor, Ali Khalifa, Kenai Roos, like you're like, oh my god, these are like
in football.
Some of the,
Isaac
guys that
Brown, Duke Watson.
You don't even talk. We're not even talking about those guys because we're so excited about. I hear everybody right now talking about the cornerbacks and guys talking about what our D line looks like.
Dude, I'm looking
Miller
rushing for like 3,000 yards between those guys this year.
That's gonna be nuts. And you got like Chris Bell, Colin Lacey, Pete Nigra has been like the anchor of the O line for the last 2 years. You know, it's gonna be fun.
Well, we were just watching earlier, like Kariski, like realizing that how long he's been, that he's been here for 3 years. I guess this will be his 4th year, and he's been solid the whole time.
Yeah, great player.
Yeah,
been very, very dependable.
Steady Eddie.
I know we're all excited for the upcoming seasons. Like we were talking about earlier, football, you're projected that you can make the playoffs. In men's basketball, there are some places that are projecting us and legitimately as a Final Four team. Women's basketball, Jeff Wallace, that's really all you need to say. Baseball, you return a majority of your lineup. Volleyball, a new coach, same system, potentially the same results. Still super excited about all the other sports, but just how excited Zach, we'll start with you on this one. How excited are you for the upcoming sports season?
I'm fired up, man. Our football. I don't want to get too far ahead of myself because the basketball team's so exciting, but football is the best time of year. We got 8 home games this year. I mean, you talk about the price of tickets, but man, there's nothing like going out there on a Thursday or Friday night, getting off work early and heading out to tailgate and then having the game under the lights. I can't wait. I'm fired up. Louisville sports is a very big part of my life and my family's life. So
same here.
8 home games. Think about all that roundup that you could do at those 8 home games.
Get after it, everybody.
Yeah.
Drink plenty of beer.
Hey, I'll click.
Fired.
I know they're not free, but the hot dogs are great too.
Yeah. Round up.
Joey, what about you? How excited are you?
I have never been more excited about a sports season in my life. Now, obviously, 2013, after the fact, that was exciting. But we're going into this season with that same feeling, like this can be another year of the Cardinal. And I mean, when you talk about where every team could land, I mean, like you said, Jeff Walls, he's got like 6 or 7 freshmen that played a lot last year that are back this year, adding pieces to that, with some veteran leadership. They could be a Elite 8 Final Four team, no doubt. Baseball, College World Series team again, no doubt. Football, basketball. Who am I missing? I'm missing a team. Volleyball. Like I've seen
volleyball is coming off a national championship.
I've seen projections for them as Final Four quality again. Even with the coaching change, but that's just elevating somebody that's already been there as well. Like so, you're You look at all these sports, and you're just like, dude, like from end of August till
April,
next June with
June
the
with
baseball
baseball.
team. Like that's
a great problem we have as Louisville fans.
we
There's
have the
not much of
derby
an
in
off
between,
season.
right? We have that derby season in between some of the stuff, where it's like baseball's just getting rolling.
Yeah.
We got Louisville sports all year round.
And now you get the excitement of the transfer portal in the spring.
Oh, dude.
So you get the basketball portal in the spring to kind of eat that time during
Yeah.
Derby. I don't know if y'all remember last year. I think there were official visits like during Derby.
During the Derby.
Yeah.
They had great Osibor at the Derby, like
Brother,
at like Wednesday. Of Derby.
You can bring them in and take them to Derby or this, that, and other.
Unreal.
Good grief.
Yeah.
I'm beyond excited. I don't even
One of the best cities in the world, man.
A lot of people sit there and will say, well, let's address volleyball specifically. They're like, oh, coaching change. We're going to be no, we're not going to be. Meskey is a part of the reason we were as good as we were. Not the sole reason. But he learned from the best, Danny. He learned from Danny. Don't know how much of input he had into what was going on, but these players trust him. This is going to be a repeat season. You have to think
Louisville, Nebraska in the championship series. That would be epic.
Be a lot of fun.
That would be epic.
That's a story.
I just remember feeling my heart sink when I found out that she was leaving Final Four. Now it wasn't open to the public, but like I found out, I think it was either before or after the Final Four game. I was told that she was leaving, and I was like, no. Well, I hope the players don't know. And it didn't look like they played like they knew, because we all know. Was it Marshall, John L. Smith?
Oh yeah,
yeah.
Halftime, it gets out that he's leaving
Michigan
U of L
State,
for
right?
Michigan State,
Michigan
and the
State.
players just
They were dead.
laid an egg.
Well, I mean, you can't blame them.
No. Oh no. No,
like what are we doing next year? Who's going to be here? Things like that.
So that's not unprecedented. Last thing we're going to add, I had some other stuff here, but we've already taken up a whole lot of time of not only the viewers but yours and Zach's. Listen, we joked around about it earlier. Let's talk about the biggest question on Louisville fans' minds right now, and that is Tyrann Stokes. Rumors are that he's demanding a high dollar amount. Hypothetically, how does the school like? I don't know, U of L maybe. How do they make sure that they can make the biggest offer and still meet all the other recruiting efforts?
That's a great question, and I think we're in a really unique spot. We're not Louisville basketball is not where we were a couple years ago.
No.
So you don't always have to be the biggest offer. You have to be the most competitive situation. And I think from you look at all the pieces, look at the culture. Like, all right, nobody's got a better culture.
No.
Not a lot of people have a better NIL situation. Not a lot of people have same style of play, the fast modern style basketball pace of play that we're going to play at. There's a lot of good situation. Like, it's a really good situation, and I don't think it's all going to come down to dollars and cents. Obviously, that'll be a big piece of it. But we're progressing through it, seeing where everything sits, and not everything is always. I'll forewarn everyone, like not everything's always as you see, so there's a lot of work to be done on both sides, but he's got a great professional team on his side, and I think that we've got a great team on ours, and we're going to try and marry the two if it all makes sense.
There you go.
You talked about videos, like the importance of the videos.
Yeah.
I think that's where something like that can come into play with like the culture and everything. The video with Pat Kelsey when Mikkel
That was
calls
wild.
it.
Yes.
I mean, I just the how hype he was and
Sure.
talking about it and everything. I think that's where the media piece in recruiting can be a very big piece. Like, I want a coach to react like that when I tell him I'm coming there. So,
Absolutely.
like
And
you
it's
said, not necessarily the highest dollar amount,
No
but
doubt.
the whole thing, and then seeing where
we don't have to do that anymore. Like I'll be the first to tell you, like we used to have to do that. Like, you used to have to pay everybody more because they didn't want to come here. So it's not that way anymore in either sport.
one season,
And it's not that way in the other three sports either. Like, people want to be here. It's rocking. A lot of people come here and they're like, man, I didn't realize how good of a city this is.
Yep.
You got to get them here. We don't lose kids once we get them to campus. So that's why a lot of the social media, the marketing, it's so important because that's the front porch. You got to get them here. And when we get them here, our head coaches don't miss very often.
Yeah.
I would find I'd be really hard pressed. I'd have to like really, really go through it. Y'all have to put me in like now the dude from the Florida Gators. It's like the old guy and his son. It's like a dad wearing Florida Gators. Guys are on Twitter. You'd have to run me through like the real official visits to prove to me that there's a better official visit than Pat Kelsey and his staff.
I mean, I committed to him during the Mikael Brown visit, and I wasn't even playing.
Even there, yeah, no doubt.
No, that was one of the more unique things, and I don't remember who put that together, but there was a call to Twitter that was like, hey, you know, there may be a recruit coming to the such and such hotel at such and such time. Y'all might want to get out here. And that entire atmosphere was just electric. And when the kid came, when Michael came in and just saw everybody and everything, he just, you could just see, like, if there's ever a literal mind blown like situation, you could just tell, man, I knew from that point, I was like, we're getting this kid. There was no doubt in my mind. As I tried to take credit with Peyton a couple weeks ago for being there at the official visit and securing the commitment, I do think I had a lot to do with that. But all jokes aside, man, stuff like that, that's out of the box thinking. That's what Louisville fans want. We want to feel like, let's face it, there was an 8-year period of time, men's basketball wise, where we got beat down with infractions, drama, trouble. We had like 72 coaches. It just it wore on a lot of people's, and to an extent, the fan base feels like, you know, they deserve a break. So a lot of the times you'll see them on Twitter like, well, we went through all this stuff. Why aren't things cheaper? Why can't we get better deals? But that just means they care again, and they didn't care that for a little while. They didn't care again, and now they do, and it's because of the things that the 502Circle has helped come to fruition, and just Josh's hires of Brom and Kelsey. Anything he did before that, in my mind's erased. It's hard to erase it, but it's erased. So I applaud them. Dan, Zach, thank you so much for coming in today. We really do appreciate it. We want you guys, and we'll continue to answer your questions till I get this wrapped up like normal. Please support our photographers at CSZ, Jeff Nunn, TJ Barr, Justin Kruger, and Keith Russell. Best photography crew in the country. I put money on it. Not NIL money, but I put regular money on that.
I'd round up for them.
You're right. I would
love that.
Jeff, we would round up for you. JK, not so much. Stay tuned. For sponsorship opportunities, it's not like we don't already have enough, but we're trying to stack them all up. Bottom left-hand corner, shoot me an email. We'll talk some business. We'll get you on board with us. The thing here is, even though we do have a lot of sponsors, we pride ourselves in having good people as sponsors. So it's kind of the Pat Kelsey model. He wants good players and good value. We want quality people. We don't want to sit here and have to be forced to be like, oh man, product A. Oh, it's really good. No, we have to believe in the product. We have to believe in the people, and we don't just take anybody. We take pride. That's something our dad installed in us, was loyalty.
That wasn't a touchdown, by the way. Sorry. I'm still upset about that.
Fair enough. Something that Dad installed in us was loyalty and word. Like we'd have neighbors that needed jobs, and Dad was pretty high up in his company. They'd be like, hey, can you put in a word for me? And if they weren't responsible people, Dad would be like, nope. I'm sorry, Mike. I'm sorry, Bob. I can't do that. He wouldn't do it. Like his word meant a lot to him. So that's kind of the way we are too. You know, we're not just going to take on anybody. But let me get back to the swing of things here. Stay tuned to our social media and subscribe to us on YouTube or Facebook to be alerted anytime we go live, even though we prefer you all subscribing on YouTube, because sponsors like YouTube views. They don't care about a lot about Facebook view, because they in their minds are like, well, that could be 2,500 of your family members or friends. Like, that doesn't prove anything. You can find the audio version of this podcast on over 125 podcast avenues: Apple, iTunes, Buzzsprout, Spotify, TuneIn, Google, Amazon, iHeart, to name a few. Hit subscribe, like, heart, +sign, or whatever it is Sean does on the weekend right now to get these downloaded to your phone or computer immediately after being put live by us. If you haven't listened to all the prior episodes of the Cardinal Sports Zone podcast, it's easy to find. Go to cardinalsportszone.com, the place that I'll begin. Go to the podcast tab, podcast drop-down menu, then select the CSZ podcast tab for the stuff that we've done in the last 6 seasons. Season 7 starting next week. Really excited about that. But you can find the last 6 seasons there. You can find our first 2 or 3 seasons prior to ESPN 93.9 under the archives tab, and you can blame Nick Valvano, that's at Nicky V ESPN, for erasing our entire 3-year run on 93.9 The Ville. And also blame him for tearing up my bathroom when he was a guest on the show a couple of weeks ago.
Yep.
Can you imagine anybody just saying, hey, can I take a dump in your bath? He didn't tell us, but 5 minutes before the podcast?
No, but again, the door's right there, and you don't even shut the door when you come out. Like that.
Party foul, Nick.
Come on.
Look, we're just giving Nick crap. Get it? Nick crap? Love that dude. Check out our exclusives on CardinalSportsZone.com as well. Shout out to everybody that's out there sharing the podcast. We appreciate you. Shout out to our guys Marcus Maben and Steve Rummage doing the Lord's work Monday through Friday from 10 to noon on ESPN 93.9 The Ville. Shout out to our guy Dalton Pence that does Monday. Shout out to Dalton Pence who does Mondays with DP from 6 to 7 on the Big X, and our guy Blake McCauley doing the new podcast Spilling the Ville with Terrence Jennings, former Louisville Cardinal. And as always, we're not just doing this because he's in the room. Shout out to our guys at the 502Circle, Dan Furman, Mark Spiegel, the whole family. Appreciate you guys. Where can people find you on social media, Zach?
You can find me on Facebook. I got a Facebook profile with I try to take as many pictures as I possibly can just to show my work. I'd much rather you judge me on pictures than me telling you.
Sure.
So if you go to Beckmann Fine Blades LLC on Facebook, my phone number is 502-445-0395.
Get it. Are you on Twitter?
I'm on Twitter. I got my Fern Creek Baseball Twitter, and then I've got my @Zach_Beckman1.
That's 2 N's.
2 N's on Beckman.
Dan, I'm not sure people know this, but what's your social media handles?
At Dan_Furman on Twitter, and then at DanielFurman4 on Instagram. So follow me up. If you got any questions on NIL, love to see you in the comments, and keep supporting 502Circle and keep supporting these guys at CSZ.
Listen, it's time. Football season is here, and the season 7 kickoff next week with my quarterback at U of L, Chris Redmond. And tentatively, listen, here's the thing about Ivan. Ivan don't always text me back, but he shows up. So it's supposed to be Chris and Ivan. That was the Louisville Male High School connection, the University of Louisville connection. We always joke about me and Ivan being the highest scoring tight end tandem in Louisville history with 31 total, and I had 0 and Ivan had all 31. But we're going to be here with the entire Cardinal Sports Zone podcast crew, except Higgy said he was going to be here, but apparently there's a Whataburger opening up in Nashville that he's got to be there.
We've never done a Saturday show, and he thought
we were doing it on Saturday. So fair enough. It's going to be next Sunday. We get right back into our 2 a week. The summer's over, guys. The vacation's over. We're back at the grind. We're going to get it with Chris and Ivan next week. We will give our season predictions along with Offensive Player of the Year, Defensive Player of the Year, Newcomer of the Year awards, give our locks for the season, and just shoot the spit, so to speak. It'll be a great time. We will also tell you about the season's formats, days, times. Super excited. Let's check the chat line really quickly. A bunch of spam. Kyle Wagner says, #Creek Rise. Let's get it, Beck. Okay. Let's get it. Sorry, get a little bit of. I talk a lot. If y'all don't know this, I hate it.
Quincy Riley, 9 tackles, 8 solo, and 1 tackle for loss.
Let's go.
Yeah, that's fair.
Good job, QR. Thanks once again to the legend Dan Furman and Zach Beckman from Beckman's Fine Blades for joining us. For Sean, Sam, Joey, and myself, we hope you guys enjoy this week. L's up, go Cards. We'll see y'all next week for season number 7. Will it be the last season? Who knows? Hopefully not. Your boy's getting tired and older, so it might be. I might have to go to the 502 Circle to work.